Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Let's see if this is working. Okay, great. Now this is working. Now this live stream is not announced. I have not announced it. Usually I announce it on Twitter, but I didn't do so today, just for a change, because I'm wondering how many people, who are watching my talk show are actually, using my announcements on Twitter. I'm not sure. So so let's see. So anyway, today I'm going to show you this keyboard. I'm going to actually do a Emacs demo working on my keyboard website. This is a funky keyboard, and it's not really good. So anyway, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Then I'm going to work on my JavaScript tutorial and with Emacs, and in the process you are going to learn some JavaScript. So basically, so there are two things, so basically it's a Emacs demo plus some talk about keyboard plus some teaching of JavaScript. So let's begin. Let's Shall we not waste time? So this keyboard, this is a funky keyboard. I found it on Twitter from Japanese keyboard community. So, well, I'm not sure this is actually of Japanese origin, but anyway, apparently this one is called Benzene 666 keyboard, and it's got this hexagonal arrangement. Now, this is actually no good because it's gonna wreck your fingers. Okay, so wait a minute, copy. Okay, hold on a second. So let's start. Xah start command log. Okay, so you can actually see the Emacs command I call. Good morning, guys. So let's copy. Hexagonal key arrangement. Looks fancy, but wreck havoc on your fingers. Okay, show in browser. Yeah, so anyway, so what I so if you go to my so if I go to my keyboard blog, you can see I already have a link there, but actually let's open that again. I want to make these I want to make a thumbnail, so let's do it on this one. D6. Now if you are watching, say something. Okay, now I'm gonna call this command that will create an image file like that, a small version, and put the file path here. Then I'm going to make it into a link. You see it's a link. Then copy it, save it, close it, back to my Emacs blog, paste it, add that, and add the div. You see, here is a problem of Emacs 26. Emacs 26 will sometimes like become a blank. So let's add a div, show in browser. You see, that's how I want it. But actually this one is prettier, so let's use that image instead. So let's go back to the page here. Let's go back here, and we want this image. So make a small version, cut, close, save, paste, make it into a link. Now open this one, delete it, we don't need it anymore, and now we have the new one, so that's good. There's one more thing I want to do. I want to add this to this section, do it yourself keyboards. So this one I will put it under here. Okay, so copy that, open page. Yeah, hold on. So copy that, open page, DIY. Okay, search for NYQ. Okay, and put it here. Remove the div, show in browser. Page down, there it is, it's right there. So, and delete the keyboard, the word keyboard, because it's redundant. Okay, that's good. Now what I'm going to do is just to go to eShell. Hold on, let's see. Go to eShell. Xah interactive abbrev. The first one, yes, and enter password. Okay, that is done for the keyboard. Good morning, Green Deck. Green Deck from Russia. Love from Russia. So now I'm going to, okay, Green Deck, if you have any comments, just say it, okay? Now we are done with the keyboard or any topic, any question. We are done with the keyboard actually. If you know, if you have keyboard question, ask. Okay, close it. So showing browser, close it, close it. Refresh this page. We don't need it anymore. So oh yeah, so let me talk about keyboard. There's one more thing. Then we're gonna do JavaScript. Okay, we are going to do fantastic JavaScript. And okay, so the keyboard. So now notice. So this keyboard is has a hexagonal arrangement. Now it's no good because you put your fingers here, then you move up. You know, you kind of move to the left. You know, like JKL, you know, for example, this is JKL, and you move up, you know, you kind of move to the towards the left. On the right hand, you can do the same, but you move to the towards the right, which is good. But however, that movement, you know, up is kind of too much to the left, kind of. But the thing is, you know, on the bottom, then you have to move to the right, you know, so it's, you know, the arrangement is hexagonal, and hexagonal means it's got this 60-degree alignment. So your fingers, you know, your fingers, when you move up and down, it's gonna like all in that way. um it's not really good because your fingers normally, you know, you should just move up down, not going, you know, into that direction and back to that direction, you know. So this slant is more slant than a standard PC keyboard. You know, there's actually more inclination than a normal PC keyboard. So it's actually no good. It looks fancy, but it's no good. But okay, so but let me show you another interesting thing. Okay, there is another keyboard that has that hexagonal arrangement, which is this one. Now this keyboard, you can see it's pretty cute. It's cute, all right, but it's it's no good because you see that it's the difference is that you see the arrangement, it has arrangement that is it's hexagonal. Okay, you can see, for example, this, suppose this is the center, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6, you see two there, you know, it's a hexagon, it forms a hexagon. So it's actually the same, it's the same arrangement like that, the hexagon one. And it's just no good because the even though it's the slant is regular, than a normal keyboard, but the 60 degrees, 30 degrees is too much. Normal keyboard are slanted in a irregular way, like that, but it's like 20 degrees or so. So it's the problem with the normal keyboard is on the left hand, because they are all slanted in this way. So the left hand you cannot, if you try to move up and towards the right, then it's like uh, a big distance, so it's no good. The best is actually like that, called ortholinear or called grid layout. Like this or like this. For example, this keyboard I/O grid layout. It's like a regular grid. So anyway, that's about keyboard. So let me work on a JavaScript page. So how long have I been talking? 10 minutes. Okay, we're gonna work on JavaScript page for maybe 20 minutes. Okay, JavaScript in depth. So that's JavaScript in depth tutorial, and let's go to the map page. I need to work on the map object. So here is a page, JavaScript map object, that's added in JavaScript 2015. And what I need to do is check existence. Let's see. Okay, what I need to do is to remove these code examples, because you can see the code examples are already here. So remove the redundant code examples. So let's go back to Emacs and check existence. Okay, delete it. First of all, let's do this so that you can see the code. For example, go to the browser. You can see I already removed that one. But here, get value of a key, which is this section, and we're gonna remove this code block, which is, it's hard to tell because it's this block. But now we're gonna call a command, xhtml dhtmlize precode buffer. So now you can see the code shows up, without the span tags, and so it's easier to identify where the codes are. For example, here. So I'm gonna remove it. So get value of a key. So yeah, refresh. You see it's gone. So that I'm gonna do add entry, delete entry. So I'm gonna do the same for size, add entry, delete entry. Okay, delete, 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 delete. Oh, actually, size showing browser. Okay, good morning, Duncan. Okay, so hold on a second. So we just did that. Let's see, creating map. Let's colorify it then. Color, refresh, new map. Okay, so parents. Yep, let's see, clear map. Okay, I need to remove these C brackets, so let's do that. So go here, you can see that. Now get the URL, copy the URL, put it here, linkify, paragraph it, remove, get the URL, put linkify, paragraph, remove. Same thing here. Good, that's good. So now back here, I need to change the date. So update the date. No, it's good. 2019 April 22nd. So that's one page done. Let me get to another page and let me answer the questions in a minute. So JavaScript map iterate, yeah, so that's good for this page. Let's see next. Oh yeah, there's some inconsistency. You see this, you see on this one it says map object, and over here it says map. So let's make them consistent. So size of, so we want to change, actually change all that to query, replace that by change, save, back to browser. Now watch over here, reload. That's good. So that's another thing done. Delete the note. Now archive prototype, parent of map objects. Okay, there's another thing. You see the parent of map objects, the parent of any map object is map.prototype, but I said this archive, which is also known as, you want to remove it because it's kind of too wordy. But actually what I need to do is to check all websites on this phrase. So search for that. Let's see if I find anything. Okay, I forgot to show you the panel. Okay, let's do it again. Copy that, search that. Okay, there are two instances, so open it over here. Okay, done. Open it, delete that, done. In browser, okay, that's good. Actually, I want to add a link to map.prototypes object, which is here. You can see map.prototype. So copy that, go back here. So put it here. Wait. Okay. Put it here. Linkify. Make it C, and make a paragraph. Which one is this? JavaScript map, parent of map object. Oh, so you need to view in browser. So there it is. Here is a new link I just added. So let me read the comments and then we'll continue to the next one. So Green Deck Duncan says, I like Microsoft Mobile Keyboard 5000. Very compact, curved. Microsoft Mobile 5000. So are you guys watching me from Twitter? Like usually I make an announcement on Twitter about, usually I say, Xah Talk Show in the next 2 hours. So are you guys following me on that, or not? Not checking that. Because I'm still trying to figure out how do I plan. I'm thinking of a schedule, like Xah Talk Show. So let's see, what is this Microsoft keyboard? Oh, I didn't copy. Microsoft 500. Microsoft Mobile 500. Oh, mobile. Okay, that's probably that. Let's see, Amazon. Oh, okay. So this, well, I guess it works. That's, this one is old and it's no longer made. It's pretty old. It's almost 5 years at least, or 10 years. So Green Deck says, "What's your opinion about what happened to the web? Like very, very heavy browsers that takes gigabytes of memory and working slowly even on good computers." And I've seen several videos about Gopher. It's some Asian protocol that is older than me. Like we should switch to it because there is no hope for the web. Yeah, for the browsers, they're getting heavy. Yeah, that that is true, and they take gigabytes of memory. That's also true, but uh, working slowly even on good computers. Yeah, there's bloat, for sure. But on the other hand, the Gopher thing, you have to understand the technology, grow exponentially. So it's not realistic, and it's silly to expect, to want something work like the way they work 20 years ago, like Gopher. So the geeks, the nerds always have the tendency to kind of want that. On one hand, they are bloat for sure. That's no good. Because programmers, companies, they churn out code. They churn out products. They market. They want to sell it. They want to make money, and programmers do not spend a lot of time. A lot of programmers don't know this stuff. They just churn out code quickly, so you have lots of bloat because code quality is bad and so on, and memory leaks and so on, and adding features so that the company can say, "Oh, we have this new feature," and all the people who don't know a thing about computers, think it's good. That's why you have all this bloat. On the other hand, many of the nerds, they are thinking, "Oh, we want plain text. We want." That's stupid. Okay, you don't want to go back to Gopher because first of all, know that technology grows exponentially. Now today we have AI. But we are still using Emacs and OGMod and stuff. Well, it's good, but we have AIs most of the time, like 95% of the time your CPU is sitting idle. you know so in a sense you're not using it, you are wasting it. So we have to consider that. There's no hope for the web. You see, the nerds, most, I'm addressing the nerd crowd. Okay, I suppose you guys are, like me. Okay, but also, but usually I often criticize. You have to remember the word is what we make of it. If you just want to, if you keep saying about, oh, open source, oh, we want open source, oh, we want go back to 20 years ago, that's no good. What happens today is what you guys, okay, or other people made it that way. So it becomes that way because all the push for open source, that's what happens. So you have now Google, Facebook, they are evil empires, they do whatever. That's what happens because when you push open source, okay, or free software foundation, whatever is good, okay, original intention is good, but however, you want to be realistic, because If you just want to push an ideology and that's not realistic, something goes wrong. Like today, that's my opinion. Okay, something goes wrong. That like today, the cell phone, the smartphone, they do tracking, whatever, and you cannot possibly control it. There's no way. The only possible way for you to actually know what's going on your phone for privacy reasons is the only way is if you are a professional security expert. That's your specialization for 20 years. Then you can possibly, you know what's going on, because the chips, that's beyond your control. Even if you are a good programmer, the design of the CPU, they got things, you have no way to know. That happens because of you, all you guys pushing for ideology, open source, and whatever. That's my opinion. Okay, of course I like so many ideas in open source. I'm a nerd, for example. I don't want to be tracked. I want privacy. I want full control of my data. I want full capability. I don't want any bloat. I don't want stupid animations and things like that. However, you cannot just like push for ideology. So I believe, okay, it's my opinion that today's situation of Google, Facebook, they tracking and everything, and Apple selling things expensive and make your phone slower every time they have a new version, and thousands of patents by Google, by Microsoft, by Apple, thousands of patents. That's because you guys, the open source fuckheads and free software, they are good in the beginning, but it becomes anyway. So what I'm saying is that society becomes, don't blame, oh, Google, because Google is evil, oh, Microsoft people is evil. No, that's not true. Okay, it's not just them creating it, because all things happens all together made it becomes that way. Okay, quickly, it's another. Right. Okay, so Duncan says that's probably more the fault of certain web dev writing using bad code rather than the fault of the browser vendors. Now today, I think today it's beyond that. It's not one team or one guy. It's happening wholesale. I mean, if you are a company, you cannot even stop it. Like for example, the JavaScript, the framework, thousands frameworks, and they are supported by Google or whatever, and corporations. It's not, even if you want, if you are trying to make a web page, an app, okay, and if you are a nerd, like a programmer, and you want it to be no bloat, okay, you cannot do it. And you know well, you can do it, of course, but nobody is going to use your app. Okay, if you want your app to have some, at least some commercial value, then you have no choice. Your app is going to be full of bloat, because you have no choice other than using lots of the frameworks and protocols. That's out of your choice. You cannot control. You have no control. That's the way they are, frameworks. You might say, maybe you are like me. Okay, oh, okay, I am not going to use any frameworks. I'm going to choose just to code everything raw, because I know JavaScript and so on. But it's not like that, because once you have an app, at for the Apple's phone or Android phone, there are lots of things that force your choices. You have no choice. You have to use this framework or this protocol or something like that. There's lots of things like that. You have no choice but to become a bloat. That's the reason. And Duncan is subscribe plus bell. Oh, I see. I see. Uh, so Danielle says, I have two things on my mind. I think Emacs seems to have too small a community, but this remark is just trolling maybe. Second, I'm learning Vorak and complain it's hard. Yeah. So what do you mean? Emacs has too small a community. That's true. That is true. But what are you trying to say? Yeah. So and yeah, learning Vorak is it's very painful for sure. So let's go back to let me just go back to working on my JavaScript and you know keep the comment going. So creating map. Okay, there's one more thing I need to do here. As you get old, you cannot have problem seeing things. I have to like take off my glasses to see things. That's not it. Okay, so map. So JavaScript ES 2015, you have a map object, which is a proper hash table. Okay, and there's something I need to change here. You see, I give a so I'm telling people, there's no literal expression for map. However, yeah, you can convert uh, array arrays of array to map. And I'm giving a code example here. But however, what should be done is let me try to fix it, and you'll see. So here is so I want to be like that. Okay, var key one var one. Copy that, paste. True. Okay, back to browser. You see, this is what I want. I want to add a text syntax instead of the code example. Now, here's a tip about writing tutorials. When you write a tutorial, you do not want just to write the code. You actually want to like separate them out as a explicit text, like explanation and syntax description, instead of just using code. As a programmer, most nerds, think that, oh, they're just right, like all the information is here. They just actually use the code. They are thinking that, here's the code that actually runs. So it should be more precise and clear. But actually, no. Because when you write a tutorial, if you want it to be a good tutorial and effective, you want to focus on communication, like you are talking to the reader, like this is what you do, like explicitly explain or say what this does or what to do, like you are talking to someone, like telling them this or that. You do not want, as opposed to just have a block of code and thinking that, oh, look, just read the code, it's everything is there. you know you don't want to do that. If you do that, on a lot of pages on GitHub, for example, you have a lot semi tutorials, written by programmers. They and if you go read them, it's just a one page of code with comments. That's no good. So this is a little tip about communication that I've learned, my experience. Because for to you, it may not matter to you, but to vast majority of people, it is the text and description, the actual communication that they learn from, not, not code, not the, code. You can actually, you can see this, if you, for example, if you are trying to learn something that's totally new to you, for example, mathematics. Would you rather read a math book where it tries to explain what it is in English, then shows you formulas, as opposed to a style where there's no English, no explanation whatsoever. Instead, it's just chunks of logical formulas. you know, so to a mathematician, some school of mathematician, they think this is good, this is precise, everything is, clear and precise and accurate, logical formulas. But to you, now you see the difference. You see, oh my God, what is this? It's, you cannot read it. You don't know what's going on. So you rather prefer to read, a math tutorial where it says, okay, this formula is doing this, and it's because of this, that, it explains. It actually tries, there's an emphasis somewhere that tries to explain, tell you what's going on. Then it shows the formula, then it shows the formula or logical symbolic expressions, you know. So that's, so I'm showing you a perspective. So this is when you see, when you actually see, oh, you actually need the explanation. You don't want to, like, many nerds are thinking, just pure code. Stupid nerds, I fucking hate, despise the programmers, like Unix philosophy fucks. Okay. So let's put it back. Actually, there's something I need to do here. So actually I need that now. Good. Now refresh. You see? So and also I'm starting to remove the comment here. So okay, let me show you the Emacs panel. Run it. It's good. Cut, paste, syntax color, save, switch to browser, refresh. Now it's clear, more clear. Remove the redundant comments. Okay, so that's done for this page. Let's see, and let me read the comment. Okay, JavaScript map. Okay, so let me hold on a second. There's another thing I need to do on this page. So what's the difference between object and map? JavaScript object is technically defined as a collection of key and value pairs. But however, in JavaScript 2015, they introduced map object, so which is a proper hash table or dictionary. So what's the difference? So here are the differences. You can. Anyway, I'm just going to. So I want to change. All these are paragraphs. I want to change them to list instead. Okay, so remove that. And actually, damn, I forgot to show the panel. But anyway, make a list. Go back to browser. That's good, except there's an error here. Yep, that's good. Make them into a list. So that's that. Actually, there are a few more pages to do. Okay, let me do one more. Map object tutorial. Oh, there's another thing. Okay, so you can see here. So the map object is designed to be used as a map data structure, similar to Python dictionary or Ruby hash table or JavaScript or Java collection and maps. So I have a tutorial on Java languages collection and map. Now there's a wording that should be changed because it's not collection, it's just a Java map. Okay, so you see JavaScript map object is similar to Python's dictionary or Ruby's hash table or Java's map. And on this page I also need to change the title. It should be collection and map. So let's go to that page. Now I'm going to, let me show you how I do it in Emacs. So this is an Emacs demo. So I copy that Xah find replace text, search for this text, replace it by collection and map. Okay, do it for this directory, HTML files, write change to files, fixed case, yes, make backup, yes. So all these pages are changes, so that's done. And I'm going to do this again, repeat this command. Now here's the list code. You can see I'm gonna do it for the entire Xah Lee info directory. So that's like 10,000 files, 7,000 of which are HTML files. So that's done. Okay, so now I look at that, you see the title is changed and any link to this page is also changed. So this page is a tutorial on the Java languages collection and map. It's funny, okay, hold on a second. Each language, they have different words for this thing. Like originally it's known as hash table. Then Python calls dictionary. Then Java and JavaScript call it map. Clojure also calls it a map. The essential idea is it's just a list of key value pairs. Okay. And now on this page, I also need to remove the first paragraph. You see, on this page I says, this page teaches you about Java's collection map and other languages, blah blah blah. That paragraph should be removed. Okay. Now, here's another interesting thing about writing tutorials or writing a web page or blog. When you write a blog, like I used to, on every page, the first sentence will describe what this page is about. Because I'm usually paranoid. Like I go to websites, I'm confused. What's the context? What's the context of this particular page? So I always prefer to for everything to be very explicit and logical. So on my own pages, almost all pages, I will say the first sentence will say, this page is a tutorial about something something, or this page is an essay about, or is an opinion about, a one sentence description that gives the context of what this page is about. So I'm doing that painstakingly. Actually, if you read Wikipedia, that is actually true. Wikipedia actually does that. For example, let's say vector space, okay, which is a math topic. Let's go to Wikipedia. Magnify. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, we are not lucky because this page actually do not do what I just described. But let's see Euclidean vectors. Okay, so here's an example. Basically, you go to any Wikipedia page, the first sentence will actually give you the context. For example, the Euclidean vector, first of all, it'll say in mathematics, physics, and engineering, an Euclidean vector is something, something, something. Okay. Often, almost always, it will say like in what specific field, like math or or biology or whatever, you know like in something something, then this is something something. That's actually that's so the purpose of that is that it gives you the context where everything this page is about. But usually when you go to other random pages on the web, that does not happen. Usually that's not true. Usually it will just begin to talk about the subject. But I noticed that the style of actually you know giving the context is usually, I think it's annoying to most people. It's usually redundant and annoying to most people. So I decided, in recent years, I began to remove them. You can see that in lots of my Emacs pages still. For example, let's see practical Emacs. Emacs keys. You see, for example, this page, Emacs CSS compressor. Then I say, I first say this page shows a Emacs command to compress reformat CSS code. So anyway, let me read the comments. So Danielle says bigger community for Emacs would be good for fixing bugs and adding new features to Emacs. Seems like we have to look at what is getting popular and get with it. So use Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I like Emacs to have a bigger community too, of course, and it will help a lot. But that's not happening because, in my opinion, Emacs people is a cult. They refuse to change many of the very simple things. For example, I've mentioned this many, probably more than one time in my talk, is that if let me show you an example then. Emacs modernization. Okay, where here? Emacs modernization. The first article: simple changes Emacs should adopt. Okay, on this page, first of all, I describe the problem. Okay, then just a few changes. Let's see, simple changes. One, two, three, four. Just four changes. Okay, make the copy, cut, paste, undo keys have the XCVZ keys, like standard in Windows, Mac, and Linux. Just do that. Just make this change, and just make this single one change. Emacs users will double. I guarantee it, double in 2 years. Okay, and this article is pretty old, 2006, so it's more than 10 years old. It's lots of flame wars. Anyway, I'm kind of already tired of the. It's going nowhere because I'm well known as a troll in Emacs community, and this article has been shown, now and then, and people don't like, and the Emacs community and code, they suppress information. basically these people, so this article is pretty old, but very few people read it. And the issue about how to improve Emacs comes up every, repeatedly, again. It's just going nowhere because why? Because the Emacs code, the Emacs people, the Emacs mentality, it's kind of helpless. So Duncan says insisting everything runs inside the terminal is a good example of a regressive ideology. Yeah, I agree. Terminal applications are emulators of 70s and 80s hardware that is the that is in the scrap heap. Yes, that's true. Uh, One thing funny about terminal, as I learned, like when you press Control D, like if I press Control D here, it exits the terminal, right? But the interesting thing is that when you press Control D, it's not actually a shortcut. Like like in terminal, like control. For example, right now I just pressed Control, Command N, okay, to give me a new window, or I can press Command T to give me a new tab. Okay. Now, usually you think of these as keyboard shortcuts, right? You know, for example, I want to close this tab, I press Command W. I'm on Mac, so I'm using Command, but on Windows or Linux, it's usually Control. Okay, so these are shortcuts. But actually, when you do Control D to close the terminal, that's not a shortcut. you know, that's actually sending the Control D key signal. Well, it's not actually a key; it's a character. It's a character. It's one of the ASCII character. Okay, Unicode characters. So you can see. I have a page discuss ASCII characters here. So the Control D is actually one of the Control D is one of the ASCII character. It means end of transmission. So I mean, this is just something interesting because back then, let's in terminal days, you don't have the concept of shortcuts, but you do have ASCII. Everything is input and output, so you have these ASCII characters. So when you press Control D, that sends a sequence of bits signals to the machine. That's how then it tells it to exit. So 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 that's an interesting thing. So if you think about this, I mean, the point, I don't really have a point, but if there's a point, is that you see the technology changes. So what we normally would think of as a keyboard shortcut, but it's not actually keyboard shortcut. So then because of this, actually there are many confusing phenomenons, like confusing to today's people. For example, okay, so Control D is actually not a keyboard shortcut, but however, some others are. For example, Control L. Okay, Control L, which is like clear out the screen. I think originally it is actually a Control L. Let's see, where is it? Form feed. Okay, I think it's Control K. I think Control K. Let's try Control K. Yeah, it's kind of similar. So at one point they are signals, the ASCII characters. In terminal, it sends the ASCII control characters to clear the screen. But then later on, it becomes a keyboard shortcut that the terminal application clears your screen locally. I think, yeah. So I mean, what I'm saying is that so you can see a lot of history here. Technology changes, and terminals. Today we call terminals are actually terminal emulators, and they are very extremely complex actually. Because we have like basically 3 decades, 30 years of computer technology evolution, and in each generation we try to be compatible with the we because we don't want to change habit, even though the design is extremely bad, but we don't want to change the habit. Therefore you have the Unix, Fox, and Linux. So anyway, so then you have the terminals. It's called terminal emulators. Okay, and actually you can see in the settings you have bunch of old terminal names. You don't see that much in Mac, but you see it much more on Linux. For example, yeah, the Mac pretty much kind of just removed them. The Mac is pretty aggressive about shell advanced. Okay, there it is. You see those VT52, VT100, VT102. Those are actual terminals, like hardware. Let's see. You can see that ultimate hacking keyboard. So if we go to keyboard history here, you see these are actual terminals. Some of them are very popular. For example, this one is the father of Vim, VI. This one VT52, 1975. This one VT100, 1978. These are very popular terminals. So they went away, because technology changes, computer changes. They went away. However, what we have instead, we have terminal emulators, which is like software that emulates, like connecting to them, emulate their screen. Why? Because we don't want to change habit, partly because of backward compatibility. There are still some systems using that, things like that. But 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 the other more than 50% of the reason is habit. People don't want to relearn new things. That's why everything is like the way, including key binding, including Emacs stuff, including lots of things, including the terminal stuff. People, including many programming language features. People don't want to change. That's why functional programming takes decades to. Part of the reason functional programming is not popular, because people are used to C. They don't want they don't want to change. That's how it is when you actually dig into history, because I have done, in many aspects of history, not just keyboard history, programming language history, Lisp history, Unix history, but not just technology. I've also seen, typewriter history and credit card history. Okay. Like when something is invented, when the first time something is invented, almost always people refuse it. So when credit card is invented, people think, I don't want it, no thanks. I have money in my banks, and I know how to write a check. I'm a I'm someone who is trustworthy. I don't need this credit card shit, scum. The credit card scam or something like that. That's how people consider it. When something new happens. Same thing with programming languages. When you have higher level languages, people think, no, thank you. I can code assembly. Thank you. you know, it's like insulting to them when you have something new tech that's easy. That's everyone can use. It's insulting to them. And this train of thought happens, of course, in Emacs and Unix people too. These elite nerds. Uh, so we constantly laugh at Microsoft Visual Studio. Like these people, stupid people, they need to use the mouse, like but actually, okay, the point is, okay, some of the criticism is valid, some of them are not. So yes, you want to consider efficiency. You always want to look at the things in a scientific way. you know as a human animal, most of our judgments are just bias, bias and habit, personal habit. So anyway, so that's back to ASCII, back to terminal. So we have these weird things. Let's close that. Close that. Close. Okay. Close. Close. New. Okay. Let's get my terminal back. And let me read the comments again. So I think we are almost. It's like an hour. Okay. So yeah, definitely I want Emacs. We need Emacs to have a bigger community, but it's very hard, because some things Emacs really should adopt, but people, the nerds, the Emacs people will not do it. For example, in my opinion, okay, you just make the copy cut undo keys to be, Control X, Control C. That will double Emacs users in a year or two. Okay, I can guarantee that. But as you probably know, and you probably think, that's stupid idea. This will never happen. So there we go. This is a controversial topic. Um, so Emacs is not likely to ever grow. You know, like on Reddit or Emacs community, people think, oh, Emacs is growing. Because we see so many people uh, chanting the good things about Emacs, oh, org mod, or stuff. It's not growing. It's actually, I would say, relatively to the whole programmer population, the Emacs users are declining and declining and declining. Uh, you know, Nobody has the actual data, for this thing, but there are many ways to make a good guess. For example, search results. Over the years, I've written about this, like over the hundreds of articles. It's not going anywhere. So George says, don't understand Xah's comment about website bloat. You can still create low bloat websites like 15 years ago. That's pretty usable. Yes, that's true, such as my website. Yeah, but you see, no, well, you see, okay, you see, my website, um, yeah, you can do that. As I said before, you can do that if you are not trying to be popular and if you are not trying to make money. Now, the moment you try to make money, try to feed your children, feed your family, feed yourself, you cannot do it because there's so many things that, again, for example, I'm running ads on my website. That immediately make it a lot slower than it should be, because because then you have bunch of JavaScript from Google, they do things, and that's just my website. Then anyway, that's another topic. So Danielle says accepted practice today is for the actual ads, along with all their JavaScript surveillance infrastructures, to be pulled in by the browser after the content elements are in place. What do you mean? Um, so anyway, third-party tracking, it does something like end of line. Yeah. Uh, yeah, in-band signal. That's yeah, in-band signal. So anyway, so Danielle says the difficult part of using control sequences is remembering which does what. Yeah, that's interesting uh, uh, idea too. Yeah, because okay, so here is one thing that's interesting topic. Um, so you have a bunch of keyboard shortcuts. Okay, there are two things I want to say about that topics. One is when you design a key binding system, for example, in my Emacs Xah Lee keys, when you design a key binding system, let's go to my keyboard blog. Okay, when you design a key binding system, there's a question of should should your key binding or keyboard shortcuts, should they be put more emphasis on mnemonics, that is make them easy to remember, or should you put more emphasis on how easy the key is to press the key? For example for example, let's say move cursor forward word in Emacs. In Emacs, forward word is what? Meta F. Okay, let's try meta F. You see, meta F forward word. Now that's mnemonic based. That make it easy to remember, because you see it's using the key F, which is like forward. So backward is B, meta B. Move backward. So, and same thing for previous, next, with P and N. Okay, so that choices of the keys are based on easy to remember. However, it's no good for it's not based on ease of key press, because on a keyboard, the easy keys are, for example, the easy keys are, you want the IJKL, for example, that would be easy for the fingers, not, the forward, the F, and backward B, FB, and PN, that's scattered over the place. So you have the situation, either it's easy to remember, or either you want it to be easy keys for the finger. So I have studied this issue, and the final decision is it should be like 100%, almost 100%, 99.99% of effort should you should you should make the choice of the keys based on how easy it is to press the key. That's key binding. Okay, so I have an article about that. It's somewhere here. So actually, right now it's 4:30 in the morning. I think my neighbors. I'm waking up. I'm waking up my neighbors, I think. So, so where's the article? So anyway, this section, this page is a index of articles that's related to key binding design. So yeah, so I have an article somewhere here about that issue. Now the other issue about key shortcut not easy to remember. Okay, there is a way, a user interface that can make all keyboard shortcut easy to remember. Let me show you the article. Xah Lee Linux GUI design. So okay, search for Xah Lee Linux GUI versus command line. Okay, so here's the article: GUI versus command line, a unified design. The problem with command line is that you cannot remember. I mean, for someone who did not study the system, you don't know what to do. The problem with the GUI is that it's less efficient because you cannot just type it. You have to pull the menus and so on. But there's a way to unify them into one, so you have advantage of both. So in this article, I discuss about it. Actually, I think I should stop. Like, how long I've been talking? For over 1 hour now. So yeah, I'm waking up my neighbors. So I should stop now. So thank you guys for coming. Maybe I'll do another one later on today, like in 8 hours, something like that. Okay, so that's it for today for this one episode. See you guys later.